Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm Simeen Amir, and I hope you and your family are in good health and are staying safe and healthy through these unusual times. This is my lecture number 4 for grade Trio, and we will continue with geography. Your subject code is 2059, and we will start with the your geography book, which is the environment of Pakistan. Let's continue with unit number 1, which is the natural topography, including the drainage pattern of Pakistan. In the previous lecture, I have told you about the topography, and it was like I have told you that topography is derived from two Greek words, topo and graphia. And topo means place or a surface, and graphia means writing. So this is to write about a surface of area or the land of area. Topography is the study of the shape and features of land surface. The topography of an area could refer to the surface shapes and features, so that we can use contour lines to know the exact size and shape of an area, like a mountain, a hill, or a plateau. We learned that Pakistan can be divided into six major natural topographical areas, in which we started with the northern mountains and northwestern mountains, and we are done with the northern mountains in the last lecture. And in the northern mountains, I've told you that there are three huge, or we can say large, mountain ranges. Among them, the first one was the Karakoram range. The Karakoram, meaning black gravel, is a mass of rock and ice extending for more than 400 kilometers from Hunza to the Sheikh River. The western end of this range lies in Pakistan. Karakoram is home to the world's second most highest and famous peak, known as K2, which is also known as Mount Godwin Austen. It is about 8,611 meters high above the sea level. It is located on the China-Pakistan border in the Karakoram range. And I have told you that this is Pakistan's highest peak. Then we learnt about the Karakoram Highway, which is also known as the National Highway and is 1300-kilometer long road which connects Pakistan with China, and the highway is a popular tourist attraction. This Karakoram Highway is considered the highest paved international road in the world, tracing one of the many pathways of the historical Silk Road. The Karakoram Highway is often called the eighth wonder of the world due to its high elevation and the difficult condition in which it was constructed. Another mountain range in the northern mountains in Pakistan is the Himalayas range, which is also the world's longest mountain range. The Himalayas is a mountain range in Asia separating the plains of the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau. The range has many of Earth's highest peaks, including the highest Mount Everest. The Himalayas consist of main three parallel ranges. The Siwalik Range, which is also known as the Outer Himalayas and is comprised the foothills. The Lesser Himalayas, which is also known as the Middle Himalayas, and the Greater Himalayas. The next most important mountain range of the northern mountains is the Hindu Kush. The Hindu Kush is an 800 kilometers long mountain range that stretches through Afghanistan from its center to northern Pakistan and into Tajikistan. It forms the western section of the Hindu Kush Himalayan range and is the westernmost extension of the Pamir Mountains, the Karakoram, and the Himalayas. The average altitude of the Hindu Kush is 4,500 meters, and it has the highest peak of this mountain range is the Tiricmir, and the height of Tiricmir is 7,690 meters. Then we talked about the drainage feature of the northern mountains, and I've told you that the term natural drainage means the natural runoff of water. And the main river in Pakistan is the Indus River. The Indus River and its tributaries like the Indus River that starts from the northern mountains in the Manasarovar Lake, and it is collecting its water from its western tributaries and its eastern tributaries. And after crossing the whole Pakistan, it is finally giving its water to the Arabian Sea. But while crossing the high altitude mountain ridges, River Indus and its tributaries form the features which are normally associated with the river's action and all high altitude areas such as gorges, waterfalls, rapids, and streams and springs. So I've explained what gorges are. When the river flows downhill, the less resistant rocks are eroded, leaving behind vertical hard rocks. These are gorges, and you can see even in the picture. Then the waterfalls, you must have heard about many of the waterfalls in the world, a steep fall of river water from a resistant rock, and rapid when we can see a series of short and very fast waterfalls that can be seen in a single picture in a single view. And then streams and springs, when the snow melts from mountain tops, water flows down in the form of streams and springs. That was all about the previous lecture. Um, let's start with the Western Mountains. In the previous lecture, we learned about the topographical features of Pakistan, and I've told you that Pakistan is divided into six topographical areas, and we are done with the first one. The first one was the Northern Mountains and Northwestern Mountains. In the Northern Mountains, we talked about the Karakoram range and the Himalayas, and in the Northwestern Mountains, we learned about the Hindu Kush mountain. Now we are going to start with the Western Mountains, and you know the Western Mountains of Pakistan consist of many parallel mountain ranges. Passes through these mountains have been widely used over several decades. Khyber, Khurram, Tuchi, Gomal, and Bolan. Due to the insufficient facilities, nomadic culture is widely followed. And you know the nomadic culture, that the people keeps on moving from one place to another in search of food, in search of pasture for their animals, and sometimes they are practicing transhumance, which is like they are moving from one place to another seasonally. And these mountains are devoid of vegetation. Farming and irrigation cannot be performed on these mountain ranges. Literacy rates are very low. No proper infrastructure has been provided to the inhabitants of these mountains, due to which there is very low population density and no proper transportation assets are given. These mountains are very rich in minerals, but unfortunately, none of these valuable minerals have been explored or exploited. These mountain ranges are not as high as the northern mountains are. So it consists of many parallel ranges. The parallel ranges are the Safed Ko, Suleiman Range, Waziristan Hills, and Kirtar Range. Let's start with Safed Ko Range. You know why we call it Safed Ko Range? Safed means white and Ko means mountain. So because their peaks are often covered with snow, so it is also called, they are called Safed Ko Range. Then these are located in an east-west direction south of the Kabul River, and their average height is like 12,000 feet. And in its south, Khurram River flows, and Khurram Pass provides a route to Afghanistan. Uh, the valleys of Safed Ko are the Kohat Valley, and the Kohat Valley is located at the other end of the Kuram Pass. It is dotted with springs and a number of limestone ridges. With the help of irrigation, the valley is farmed. Wheat, rice, and sugarcane are cultivated here. Another valley in this region is the Vale of Peshawar. Vale of Peshawar means the Peshawar Valley, and it is drained by the river Kabul and Sawat. It is fertile alluvial plain irrigated by canals originating from the Versak Dam on the river Kabul. Uh, Alluvial plain means the plain area or the flat area that contains the alluvial soil, which is deposited by streams. The streams are going through this area, so they are depositing alluvium soil, which is very very rich soil, fertile soil. Then the next one is Waziristan Hills, and the Waziristan Hills are located between the Kuram and the Gomal rivers, and they lie in a highly mineralized, rich in mineral zone along with the Safed Ko ranges. These hills form a rampart between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The rampart means a protective barrier. So it gives us the protective barrier between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The valleys include the Banu Valley, which is located to the east of the Waziristan Hills, and Banu near the Tochi Pass and Dera Ismail Khan near the Gomal Pass are important towns and military centers. The Banu Valley is a low-lying basin bordered by hills and mountains and drained by streams with braided channels. You know what is braided channels? It is like, you know what is braid? Braid is the interlacing hair style of girls. So girls maybe know about, um, they must be knowing about the braided channels, and these are the interlaced lines of to form a length. So with braided channels, the valley has deposits of clay and boulders. A boulder is a large worn rock and is brought down by streams. The Huram Dam on the Huram River is the main source of irrigation water. The next range is Suleiman Ranges. In the south of the Gomal River lies the Suleiman Mountains. It rims southwards for a distance of about 300 miles. Its highest peak is known as Takht Suleimani, whose height is 11,100 feet above sea level. At the southern end of the Suleiman mountain, the Bukti and the Madi hills run from the southeast of the northwest. The Bolan is the main river of this region. The Bolan River passes through the Bolan Pass, which provides communication facilities between Iran and Pakistan. Quetta is an important base at the northern end of Bolan Pass. The Kirtar Hills are the next one. Kirtar Mountains are located in Sindh and Balochistan. The range extends southward for nearly 300 kilometers from the Mulla River to Cape Morai on the Arabian Sea. The maximum altitude of the Kirtar range that is present in Sindh is almost 7,056 feet above the sea level, which makes it the Sindh's highest peak. So on page number 10, after Suleiman and Kirtar range, there's a topic passes of the Western Mountains. You know what is a mountain pass? A mountain pass is a navigable route through a mountain range or over a ridge. Since many of the world's mountain ranges have presented formidable barriers to travel, passes have played a key role in trade, war, and both human and animal migration throughout world's history. So that's why we need passes in every mountain ranges. Let me tell you about the passes of the Western Mountains. The passes through the Western Mountains are special geographical and historic interest. Here you have figure 1.27. The figure 1.27 will give you an image of the passes through the Western Mountains. Here you have Khyber, Huram, Tuchi, Komal, and Bolan. And the description, the Khyber is further like wide enough to facilitate the passage of trooper and leads to the fertile vale of Peshawar. These are the passes, and the Kuram Pass route to Afghanistan. The Tuchi is the Ghazni to Banu, and the Gomal is Afghanistan to Dera Jets, and Bolan connects the Sibi plain to Quetta. In your book on page number 10, there's another figure, which is figure 1.28, and this is the description of the Western Mountains. All the mountain ranges are here with their height, with their location, the physical features, and importance of these mountain ranges. So read about it, and then we will start the new topic. So the next topic is economic activities and lifestyle in the Western Mountains on page number 10. And the Western Mountains are mostly bare of vegetation. Bare of vegetation being uncovered of vegetation, and without vegetation, the climate and relief do not support farming. Relief is the topography or the shape of the land. So the climate and the relief, the shape of the land, do not support the farming. Canal irrigation is not possible because of the mountainous terrain and rugged landscape. Terrain is land, and rugged landscape means rough, broken, sharp landscape. Transportation facilities are limited except for a few urban centers like Peshawar and Kohat. The rest of the area is not connected by air or rail networks. Only a few areas are accessible through main metallic roads. You know what is metallic roads? They are the surface covered with stones. Uh, the way we say like pakki sadkein, that is metal roads. So they are accessible through metal roads, and most of the areas are accessible only by unmetal roads, which are kachi sadkein. Life in the Western Mountains is difficult because of the rugged landscape. I have told you rugged means the rough, irregular, and broken into very sharp, irregular, pointed landscape. The cost of supplying infrastructure is the facilities given by the government like water supply, transport facilities, electricity, telephone lines, and these are much higher than in the plains. As a consequence, as a result, developmental projects like mining activities, industries, educational facilities have not been established. These factors adversely means negatively affect the lives of the inhabitants living there, the native people. They are deprived of even the basic necessities of life, and nomadic lifestyle, the people who keeps on moving from one place to another in search of food, in search of pasture for their animals. So a nomadic lifestyle is common, and sheep and goat rearing is the main occupation. So livestock farming is the main occupation. The population density is lower than 100 persons per square kilometer, and there are abundant mineral resources in the western mountains, but due to the difficulty of extracting them, they have not been explored or exploited. So on page number 11, there is a topic mountain building process, origin and formation of fold mountains. But this is not the part of your syllabus, as you can see at the bottom of the page. There's a note. A vertical blue line in the margin of the text indicates the extension material that is not specified in the 2059 paper number 2 syllabus. So this is not the part of your syllabus. You can see in the margin the blue line with this topic. If you turn the page, page number 12, you can see when the earthquakes, how earthquakes are caused. So this is like earthquakes jolted in northern areas, northern Pakistan, effects of earthquakes, physical environment, human environment, and effects of earthquakes on the economy. All of these are the extension material that is not specified in your syllabus. So move on to the page number 13, the Balochistan plateaus. This plateau, which lies in the west of the Suleiman Khirtar Mountains, is covered with dry hills, which runs from northeast to southwest. The Tuba Kakar and Chaghi ranges in north separate it from Afghanistan. River Job and Gomal flow through it. This area is rich in coal, iron, and chromite deposits, but is not suitable for cultivation due to scarcity of water and uneven topography. So the basins of northern Balochistan, the Balochistan plateau has a number of irregular depressions such as the Job and Loralai basins, which are situated between the Tuba Kakar ranges and the Suleiman range. To the southwest of the Loralai Basin is the Quetta Valley, surrounded by mountain ranges. As it rains infrequently, when it does rain, the rivers from narrow channels as they reach the foothills of the mountains, they deposit gravel and boulders. in addition to sand and silt. I have told you, I think not you, but the one, gravel is a small stone that is, we can say, made smooth and round by the action of the water. And boulders, I have already told you about the boulders in this previous slides. And silt and silt is also the small particles that is when the water is coming from the foothills, it is containing silt from these areas and depositing in the reservoirs. The deposition of material brought by the rivers channels from forms alluvial fans on the Piedmont Plains. The alluvial fans and Piedmont Plains will be explained in the next lectures, inshallah. But briefly, I want to tell you that it's a gentle slope leading from the foot of the mountains to a region of a flat land. So, I inshallah explain these terms in the next lectures with specific images. This is Baluchistan plateaus. You can see the rugged landscape. You can see the topography of the Baluchistan plateaus here. On page number 13, after basins of northern Baluchistan, there's a part B, which is basins of western Baluchistan. There are a number of basins between mountain ranges such as the Chaghi Hills, Rasko, Siahan, and Central Makran. This area is almost totally devoid of vegetation. Devoid of vegetation means without vegetation or bare of vegetation, and there is very little rainfall even in winter. These basins have no outlet to the sea, no path to the sea. Therefore, when rain, which is infrequent, insufficient, so does it does fall, it drain into the temporary rivers and streams which flows into the basins and either soak into the ground or gather in temporary lakes. And you know these temporary lakes are what they call, these basins are therefore known as inland drainage basins. They are inland drainage basins just because all the water runoff in these, or we can say drain into these basins, these are absorbed, the water is absorbed in the land and not reaching towards the coast of the area. The temporary lakes are called hamans in the local language. You know what is Heman? A Heman refers to inland desert lake or marshland formed as natural seasonal reservoirs. They are salt lakes. You know, the water contains salt. So they are salt lakes, and when their water is evaporated away, a salty crust is left behind. It is then called a salt pan. The largest of these temporary lakes is called Hemanimashkhil, which is located in the western part of the Haran Desert. The sea part is the mountain ranges. This is the mountain ranges of the Balochistan plateaus. And the Balochistan plateaus landscape is covered with a number of barren mountain ranges with an altitude of between 600 to 3010 meters. These mountains are barren ranges and are highly mineralized. Barren means unproductive. So they are unproductive, but they are mineralized. A lot of minerals are found there, especially the Chaghi Hills, including copper, gold, and sulfur deposits. Many are in the process of exploration. The ranges are Rasko, Hala Range, Makran Coast Range, Central Brahwi Range, Tubakakar Range, and Siahan Range. And the last part, which is part D, is the coastal areas of Balochistan plateaus. The coastal areas of the Balochistan plateau can be divided into eastern and western parts. The eastern part comprises the beautiful Lasbela plain, which is marked by gravel and sand dunes. The sand dunes are the natural elevation in sand due to wind. You can find them in deserts. The western part is known as the Makran Coast, where the Makran Coast Range projects into the sea and forms a narrow coastal plain. The important rivers are the Hab, Porali, Hengol, and Dasht, which flow into the Arabian Sea. So that was today's lecture. Um, I hope you must have understand or you must have got all the important points. Here I'm going to give you an assignment. It's a brief note about all the parallel ranges of the Western Mountains. So all about all the four parallel ranges of Western Mountains, you have to write brief notes. Uh, mm, uh, Make a note for each parallel range in a paragraph. That would be enough. And um, if you have any problem, if you have any query, please drop your query in the comment box. I must entertain your queries, inshallah. So thank you so much for watching this video. Um, I hope you must have liked this video as well, and the voice must be clear this time. And I'll meet again with another lecture and we'll continue with Balochistan's economic potential, inshallah. Till then, bye.